And welcome to another exciting episode of the World Gaming Trade Show. I am your host, Jeremy, aka your retro activist, aka your in-game boss. As you know, this is part of the in-game boss program, network of gaming and variety shows, but I'm not alone. I always have my partner, my other network partner, my buddy on the other side of the map of the United States, and that is my boy Brando from the Game Addict podcast.
What's going on, dude? It's good to be here again today on the show. We got a couple more games that we're going to talk about and dust off, clear off the little dust mites off these games that haven't been touched in a while from these developers, from these publishers. They've kind of forgot about them, not giving them any love, and we're going to give them some love here today. What we do here on the show is that we do just that. We take a couple of old games, some of these old franchises that haven't been touched in a while, and we try to think of ways to try and reinvigorate them, bring them back. And then we start throwing together some ideas about who we would like to try and tackle the project. And we got two games for you here today. One I've never played, so it's obviously not my pick. But I'm super excited also to be here, back because we don't do this show we only like about one a month. So it's cool to come back and talk about some old games, and we get a little bit of scratching that retro itch, if you will. Which, by the way, did you know that the PS2 and GameCube are now considered retro?
Blows my mind, right? Because knowing us, we were. I'm not gonna say we were the first step people in the gaming, but we were like the round three. All right. We were in the 80s, right? So we were there when Nintendo was hitting its stride. So the fact now that those two consoles are 20 years old is crazy, because that's equivalent to the new generation. That's their regular Nintendo. Right?
My kid plays Switch all the time, and I was just going through with him. He was looking on his 2DS actually, and he was looking at the virtual console games. And I was schooling him on what the different the handhelds, the Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, and then Super Nintendo, and he was like not knowing that, he knew all this stuff exists because he plays that stuff on his Switch, NES and Super NES games on there, but he doesn't know, dude. His stuff is the PS5, the PS4, the Xbox, the Switch. That's he's 6, so by the time he's 18, what's going to be out, right? There's rumors that Apple's making a competitor to the Switch. So just imagine how much that's going to cost people.
Right.
Arm and a leg, and they're not going to send you a charger with it. So guys, it definitely made me feel old when I found out that the GameCube and the PS2 were considered retro, considering that I was old enough. I was in high school.
High school.
I was in high school when both of those came out. And I remember getting both of them and playing with them and having fun. I started, my first console I ever owned was Super Nintendo, but very first console I ever played was the ColecoVision. I played that, and then I played the NES. But much of my friends and family members had NESs, so I played them. But Xbox omitted from that? Is that because it's somewhat backwards compatible? Well,
no.
Why is it that this headline came out and said the PS2 and GameCube are retro, and yet the Xbox came out at the same time as the GameCube?
I have a good answer to that. Would you like to hear my answer?
Please.
It's their first year. They were this is their first year in the game. So actually, to really get some recognition would probably maybe the next year or the year after would be this is their moment now, right?
Okay, all right. Well,
yeah.
Okay. So in 2001, the original Xbox came out, and in 2005, the 360 came out. There's only 3 or 4 years in between. So that's a very short lifespan because they very quickly shifted gears, and they still released some games for the original Xbox. But let's be honest, the moment the 360 came out, Microsoft switched gears and said, "This is our thing." They almost pulled a Sega, where Sega was like, the 32X is our new console. Well, actually, the Saturn's our new console.
Yeah.
And then, except this time there wasn't that, just months in between it. There's a few years, but they were able to successfully get out of the gate first and get basically the 360 is what helped maintain Xbox into being the big competitor that they are today.
Mm-hmm.
So it worked for them. So it's like, is the original Xbox just not going to get that love? Or are we going to wait for the 360 to, here in a few years in 2025? That's going to be, man, when 2025 hits and I see that headline, Xbox 360 is now retro,
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably just going to shrivel and die. It's like watching, do you ever play Metal Gear Solid 4? There's a scene with Snake, and he's wearing his face camo, and like he's young Snake. And then it goes off, and he's like, and he goes old really quick.
Yep.
And it's like that's me. That's gonna be me sitting there, and yeah, I'm just gonna get gray haired and wrinkly, like in all in an instant.
But I think Xbox deserved to be celebrated too as a console that made it through the transition of staying on, right? Like, there's a lot. I think that there's a lot. People forget that there is a lot of consoles that came and gone, but they just didn't go far enough. They just like, people forget that 3DO was a thing. No one's celebrating 3DO because it didn't last long. Xbox, I was on that boat. It was an American system, and I didn't think it was going to get far. It didn't have anything that PlayStation and Nintendo were doing because they just been in the game so long. But you have to think about it. You have to think about it like the way it was back then too. When PlayStation first came out, they're like, Sony don't have a chance. But we were wrong.
Sega and Nintendo's got this, man.
Yeah.
What are they doing? And next thing we know, Sony comes out and Sega, within just a few years, are no longer making consoles.
But here's the weird part about it. It feels like it has to be a rule of 3, right?
Almost.
There's never, ever been other choices that are taken seriously in the console front. For Xbox to come, Sega had to say bye.
Right? Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like, there was never a 4-way battle. So, like, right now, those are still the 3 top tiers. Stadia came in, they're not making it in all the way, right?
Ouya
didn't make it in there either. Nope. Like now we have the Steam Deck, but Steam is a whole different feel. I don't even put them in this category. Steam is PC. That's their world. We already know PC's up there to me.
I mean, you know what? I'm not big on the Steam front. I don't have a large Steam library.
Mm-hmm.
I probably have more free Epic games than I have bought Steam library games. And I know that you can run stuff on there to be able to run like third party launchers. So that's kind of cool. But for this price point, it's like I probably not for me.
No, not for me either.
So but props to anybody who wants to kind of dive into that and take their PC games with you, because it honestly, it does look pretty cool. Like that's the closest that you're going to get me to almost considering becoming a PC gamer, is like having a dedicated machine, because you and me were talking beforehand before we started. I got a Raspberry Pi, and I don't like tinkering with it. And it seems like every time I'm going to be playing a game, something's not working right, so I got tinker. I remember buying on the PC on the PC Steam sale. I got Bully. You remember that game for the PS2?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rockstar.
It came out for the 360 and the Wii. So good game, and I got it on Steam sale for a couple bucks. Except the PC port is crap, absolute crap. I had to download fan-made patches to get this thing to run right. And my PC wasn't the best, but it could do it. It met the requirements. But I literally had to spend 2 full nights getting this game to run on my computer. Once I was able to go and play, everything was cool. I had it hooked up to my TV, and I had a great time. But 2 nights. That's where I love my games. That's where I love my retro stuff. I like to be able to plug it in, turn it on, and it does what it's supposed to do. And today, what we're supposed to do is talk about some old games, and that's what we're going to be doing. That's what we in the biz call a segue. And the first game we're going to be talking about is my boy here, Jeremy, his pick, man. Tell us what your pick is. I want to hear.
My pick is coming back to the NES, you know, our age, our golden time. And this is a game that definitely fell under the radar. A lot of people may have played it, but they kind of don't want to talk about it because it was part of a series of clones of games. And one of the top games that they cloned off was Mega Man. And if you know Mega Man, it's always been a bunch of bosses. You choose which way you want to go, as long as you complete all of them to get to the final boss, right? We've seen that with a bunch of games off of Mega Man, or mainly Capcom games that use that formula. Then everybody started following through, especially this game that is called Shatterhand. And it's hilarious because Shatterhands, it just sounds tough, right? Like, Shatterhands, like what's going on? Like, am I punching somebody? Like, what's going on? And if you look at the cover, it's like, it's legendary, man. Like it looks like they just took the same guy from all beat 'em up games and just like, let's put him on here with some sunglasses. And the fact that he's right there, looks like he's about to punch the screen with these metal, couldn't quite get his Wolverine blades coming out kind of moves. And I love that cover. I love Nintendo covers. Like,
dude, he's punching the logo, it looks like.
Yeah, I love it so much because that's how you had to sell a game, was your cover. Like, yeah, like that's how you do it. Like, nowadays, I miss those. Nowadays, you don't get that now. It's more like, I can go online and look at the gameplay. But back in the day, you had to trust the cover and the back of it and hope for the best.
I know. And then, mercy the day that you get at home and you go, damn it. This game
yeah, and the game, and some games don't even describe you what kind of game it is. Is it a beat 'em up? Is it an action game? You gotta hope in the picture like, it looks like you got a gun. I guess it's a shooter game. Okay, yeah.
Back in our day, we used to rent a lot of games, right? Like, you go to a store. Like, I come from like small town, Midwest towns where like we didn't have a whole lot of actual video rental stores. We rented our videos and games from the grocery store while we were there. And I remember picking up Mario in Time. Did you ever play that game?
That's one of the worst misleading games. I fell for that. I already know where you're going with it. Yeah, that game is terrible.
Yeah, same thing. I'm like, dude, Mario Time Machine? Mario's Time Machine, I think that's what it's called. Mario Time Machine. Dude, I'm like, Doc Brown and Mario teaming up? We're going to go back in time and mess some stuff up? All right, I'm renting this sucker, and we're going to go home today. And I get home, and I'm like, what is this? I have to read.
It's an educational game?
What the hell is this? Because at least Mario is Missing had a little bit of it was kind of adventurous a little bit. Mm-hmm. Like, you could wander around learning about some geography. Yeah, I never quite understood.
Dude, Mario Missing is the prequel to Luigi's Mansion. It's basically what it is.
Oh, but no, dude, the covers, just like you said, like we didn't have the internet back then. We had magazines, and that was lucky if you had a subscription, or like while your mom and dad are shopping in the store, you go over to the magazine section, look through Game Pro real quick, go, man, what games are coming out? What some reviews are out? What's cool? And no, dude, I definitely get that sense and vibe from this cover. This is. It says North American cover, and I want to see the other ones now, because this does look like a very stereotypical like 80s, 90s action movie. Like, we're marketing right to you here.
And the fact what also has to sell you is an awesome story setup, right? So the story of this is set in the year 2030, which, we're 10 years getting there, so it's not going to become that. A group of military renegades known as Metal Command. That's before Metal Gear was a thing, right? Led by General Gus Groover, are seeking to conquer the world by building an army of cyborg soldiers. Steve Herman, a young police officer from the Bronx, ends up losing both of his arms during a skirmish with members of the Metal Command. After an incident, Herman is offered two specially developed cybernetic arms developed by Law of Order Regulation Division, or LORD, to replace the ones he lost. Herman accepts the offer and becomes the agent codenamed Shatterhands, who is now tasked in the mission to defeat the Metal Command. It doesn't get more epic than that, guys. It does not. Basically, it's like a Mega Man game. You were built to stop these bad guys under a leader. So, Shatterhands is very simple. You're this guy with this cool jacket. You punch the shit out of everything in front of you in this 2D platform. You pick any stage you want. You go through that stage. You fight a boss at the end. But you're not alone. You have power-ups that join you on this. And you go by the different levels of it with different pods on the way of your stage. So when you find these pods, you have to bend down, kind of like Castlevania, if you want to find a secret. And you power up and your suit changes. That's more of a power up, kind of like an armor shield on you, but it's just a green jacket that turns to a red jacket. Then you get a real robot friend that joins you on this, and he got different perks depending what option you pick out of A or B. And there's about like 6 different options that you want to do. But like any video game, from Ninja Gaiden to Castlevania, you just want to get that one move and hold on to it. In Castlevania, it was the cross boomerang for me. That was me. If I could hold on to that through the whole game, I would. All right?
Dude, man, you have that, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, man, I hit the button, I got the holy water.
Yeah,
dang it.
Exactly. Exactly. Or if you're a Ninja Guy, I would take the clones. The 2 that follow me everywhere, because they would do damage to everything. But too bad. I get the stupid wrap-around fire blade that goes around back and forth. And it's like, what does this thing do? It does nothing. The crow still killed me, Brendo.
So this plot, can we get, like, Hollywood on board to make this movie with Keanu Reeves as Steve Herman?
Why not, dude? Why not? If it was made in that time, I think it would be Kurt Russell.
Oh, dude, Kurt Russell would have fit in. The part that cracked me up is young police officer from the Bronx. And the only thing I think of is Jackie Chan Rumble in the Bronx.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, like, this is epic stuff.
So before you go on, the reason I picked this game is because I was in a mode of trying out games that were clones of these other games. Another game that reminds me of this is Power Blade. And if you've seen Power Blade, it's the same picture of a guy with glasses holding this blade that looks like a boomerang. He just throws boomerangs. That's all he does. I don't know if it's by the same developers, but funny story, the developers that made this, they're Natsume, the people that did Harvest Moon series. Remember that. This is where they kind of started before Harvest Moon became popular. Now, I picked this because when I was playing it, it actually is not a bad game. It has some interesting ideas. One of the things that they did was really cool was the gripping. So when you go through levels, there's these fence, and your character can climb on these things. But it's not climbing like you would see Mario climb up a ladder like in Super Mario World. It's more of like he would jump and grip. So I thought that was pretty cool, and he could punch and all this stuff. So it was a really cool idea. And some of the boss fights were very interesting way of doing stuff. And the music was banging. Really good music. Like, they did the handbook of, like, looking at Konami and Capcom, like, we got to have a soundtrack like that. If this game is garbage, at least the soundtrack is awesome. You know? But the game is hard. You only get 2 lives. You die, you start over again. You get infinite lives. Like, infinite continues. Sorry, infinite continues, but you only get 2 lives at each session. And the cool part is, you get to restart the stage. You don't restart the whole game. So you don't, like... I believe that's correct. You don't have to, like, if you beat 5 and you die on the 6th one, it doesn't mean you start from back to square one. You know, you just start back in that same stage again until you beat it or whatever. But the guy, Shatterhands, the guy, he walks so badass. And the way he punches, Brandon, if you watch videos, this guy can punch. And I love it. Like, he puts his whole body into it. It's pretty epic how he punches. And I thought it was just a cool idea, and I believe there's something there. It just never advanced there, and that's why I want to bring it up here, because I feel like it has potential to bring it back. Like Bionic Commando, it has a good chance of coming back again and being something nostalgia for people. So that's why I picked this one. So
I chose to kind of go out of the box with this.
Okay.
Because I had to do research on this title simply because I'd never played it. And watching the gameplay, man, I thought about what this would be like in a 3D setting.
Okay.
So for me, right at the gate, I'm not keeping this 2D. I'm not keeping this old school. I'm going more new school. But I'm not going big open world with it. We're going to go down some hallways, and we're going to basically this is like a corridor fighter.
Okay.
We'll be fighting enemies. We'll be bouncing off the walls, doing some cool stuff, and we're gonna have a little cyborg friend kind of pop out. He's gonna come on out, and he's gonna be fighting with us, and like I kind of want to get to spots where I want to have the gameplay a mixture of the style of like a corridor fighter, and then mixture of like a side scroller beat him up, where like you would get to a section and you can't go press, and the enemies keep flooding at you. Because I would love to be able to see the combos that you could do with your mechanical buddy, and how like you're like basically when you get your mechanical buddy, your inputs automatically signal an AI input for him. So then you both are doing like, so both of you are actually moving independently. And that is something that I really kind of wanted to focus on. Unfortunately, other than being wacky and having some cool platforming and traversal and upgrades, but I am keeping the overall feel and aesthetic of the level progression and boss fights, as well as how you pick your levels. I'm keeping that all the same because I want to keep that Mega Man aspect of it. I'm a big Mega Man guy myself, but I'm going more into that kind of 3D fighting realm. So I chose Dream Factory.
Okay.
Because the game I thought of that we could really, it's a game we never got a sequel to, and it's a game that we could really use to build off of that, to bring aspects of Shatterhand into it, is the Bouncer.
Okay.
That's where I'm kind of starting off of. And then we'll build on to that. So, like, Dream Factory has not done anything in quite some time. The live animation is the last thing they've done. I don't even know what that is.
And they're not defunct as we speak.
It doesn't say that they've shut down, but they're not really doing anything. So either they are defunct, or they're just been absorbed by somebody else.
Okay.
But other than the Bouncer, they have developed Ehrgeiz, God Bless the Ring, Tobal 1 and 2 for all those for the PlayStation, and Ehrgeiz was in the arcade. They did one of the early UFC fighting games. And so they've kind of been in that realm of 2D and 3D fighting games for a while. So I don't know exactly what game stuff they're doing on a modern level. They've been making they've done 2016 they did is a port, either a port or a new version of Xevious for Android and iOS. So they're out there doing some stuff, but it's definitely not where they used to be. But I think it'd be really neat to kind of revisit. Bouncer is one of those, like that was like a near launch title.
It was,
for the PS2, and it was made by Dream Factory with Square, and it never really had a sequel. It was a really short game. You could beat the game in like 45 minutes. But it just it kind of reminded, like the moment I saw gameplay of that, I'm like, man, in a more modern setting, the way that he's fighting and doing stuff, it kind of reminded me a little bit of what you could do, what the Bouncer was. And I'm like, I would love to see a modern take on that. Like a modern take on the Bouncer doing Shatterhand.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
So would, kind of like you said, like Mega Man, were you thinking of like, when you said like close indoor fighting and whatnot, would you say that you would do all your fighting at the base of this metal command station? You know what I mean? Since, most technical bases are all close corridors as you're making through at all. Were you thinking like that, or were you thinking back the way it was where you kind of have a little bit of wilderness or whatever?
Honestly, I never even got that far, so that's a good idea.
That's fine. That's fine.
I never even got that far. As far as level design, I just thought of like kind of more of the. I didn't want it to be open because there's too many opens. I don't want it to feel like too many things that are going on right now, And so if you're going to keep it in more in a corridor, that makes it to where you can kind of bounce off the walls a little bit more and utilize that for your combos and stuff like that.
So let me give you a better example. Where you think like the stage setup like Devil May Cry, where you go from section to section with a score at the end, or we talk about like Metal Gear, where you have that kind of I guess you could say it's open, but it's not open per se, but you're making your way to the next pinpoint for the next story to progress. Like what?
It'd probably be closer to Devil May Cry.
Okay.
You know, that's probably where like a good example.
Okay.
Because you're working your way towards the end because you're going to get to the boss and like it's level select type deal. So it's like a weird middle ground between a retro style game and a more newer style game.
Okay. All right. So I'm going 2D. I feel like that I want the 2D and I want that like breathtaking background. I want really a 2.5D for this. And I want it to be really fast paced. Like I want like some awesome action fighting and everything. I want your AI partner to be with you at all times, but he is there until you have a meter power up and he comes and helps you out with a super move. Either like he can do a clear the room move, he can give you armor, because if you see in Shatterhands, if you can get next to, what's funny about Shatterhands is you want to get to each upgradable portal, because if you can get there without being damaged or you get there in good condition, it upgrades even more. So if you get to the third one, the robot can actually do a move where he can cover your whole body and you're running around with a metal armor outfit, right? So I kind of want it like that, but more of like maybe like temporary. So if you fill up the meter quick enough, he can do a move, and maybe if you have a certain layout set how you want it, or depending what item that you get for him, he can do that temporary move. So he get where the armor is good for like, maybe 10 minutes or whatever. Or he can take everything in that screen that you're in right now in the 2D. But also too, he's freaking Shatterhands, right? He has cybernetic arms. Why are we not advancing this more? Like each upgrade should give him something, like either like the old school, he punches and a giant wave comes through. Kind of like you would see like from Guile from Street Fighter, that little wind that comes across, or a ground wind or something like that. A ground pound, he can upgrade, so every time he hits the ground, it shakes and everybody falls or everybody disappears in bits or something. Like the hands need to be more focused on. We need more powerful moves. Like his hands go on fire every time he punches. Like a flame falls after him, like a huge charge or something. A Mega Buster, he charges up that fist. And then, boom, he just hits somebody really hard. Like, the hands need to be the star of the show. It's called Shattered Hands. And I want to feel like I'm shattering somebody, Brando. Even in the old school game, yeah, I'm punching. But am I shattering? Am I hurting feelings here? Am I feeling like that people running away from me? No. That's what I want. I want people to fear me. And not just a punch, but what about some cool combo moves with those punch? Maybe I can go up here, lift them up, and then do a quick punch up in the air or something like get ridiculous with it. It's freaking Shatterhands. And, and make some ridiculous boss fights that are just clever. And then at the end of each one, you just take off the sunglasses and he just says the worst pun ever. Well, I just shatter his dreams. Give me something funny and dumb. Have fun with it. That's who I want. Now, the people I get for it is Easy Trigger Games. And those are the people that are doing a great game that I recommend everybody playing. By the time you listen to this, I don't know if the deal's still going on Steam, but you can get on Switch, you can get on anything. It's called The Hunt Down. And it is so good. Have you played The Hunt Down, Brando?
I have not.
Have you heard of it?
No. Tell me all about it.
Man, it is an old school shoot 'em up game set in a dystopia style game where the streets are running wild and everything is old school style and the music is jamming and you're just dealing with the street, like you're going after the street like crime lords from each stage. And it's a dedication to the 80s and 90s. It's like the Escape from New York kind of thing. And you can choose between 3 characters. You got a black girl, a robot, and this other guy. And you're just going from stage to stage, and you get these upgrades like shotguns and everything. And it's awesome. It's 2 players co-op. I recommend it. That is up your alley. You would love that game. If you like Contra, you would like this game.
Awesome.
It's a great game. I recommend it. And if you want to see more about it, we have a new episode of Buddy Up Gaming that I do with my friend Jerome that is out right now on YouTube. So you can go and check that gameplay out right now. And it's amazing. And you can get it pretty good price, like $10, on a good sale. I recommend it. I recommend it a lot. And I need to finish that game too. But I want to do an episode of Buddy Up Gaming. So that is my Shatterhands, and that is your Shatterhands. But the listeners, what's your Shatterhands? Have you heard of it? Go look it up. Play it. Leave a comment down below. Tell us, who do you think should develop it? And what do you think they need to add on to bring this game back in a new flavor? By the way, this is published by Jalinto or whatever, that company. They're known for making a lot of crappy games, but this one was a little diamond in the rough for me. Yeah. But while we're taking hands and taking names, Brando's going to take us to the air. What is your pick, sir?
So what I'm bringing to the table here today is a game that I first played on the Super Nintendo. I believe it was a launch era title.
It was. Yes, it was.
Nintendo. Pilotwings. So how many Pilotwings games have there been? There haven't been that many.
I think 3.
Yeah.
So
Pilotwings 64, and then Resorts on was that 3DS?
3DS, yes.
Launch title for 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't been touched. What's going on with Pilotwings? What's going on with this? They don't care about it. It's like, has it gone the way of Wii Sports?
Along with Wave Race, Excite Bike.
And Wave Race is Excite Bike.
1080. Check out our episode.
Yeah, exactly. Our whole Extreme Sports episode that we did back in the catalog is there. They could easily do a Switch sports game. They did that 1-2 Switch and that fighting game. Nobody seems to care about them. Mm-hmm. But we can bring back bowling. Okay, we could do that. But no. So Pilotwings. Why did I pick Pilotwings? Well, because I hadn't heard about it in a long time. And you know what game came out more recently and really just kind of like took the world by storm? Was the new flight simulator.
Mm-hmm.
Came out on PC and it just came out to Xbox. I think more specifically the Series X.
Yeah.
And it has an adaptive map using satellites. A friend of mine has a Series X and was playing it and flew over his own house. Like, that's crazy. I think there's a cool market out there for a Pilotwings meets flight simulator. So it's going to be more arcadey. Still going to keep that there, but I kind of want to put a little bit more into it to where it's like Pilotwings meets flight simulator meets Gran Turismo. So we're not racing, but Pilotwings, you got to earn your, you got to earn your keep. You got to do your tests. You got to land your plane. You got to dive out. You got to parachute and land in the right spot. So so we're keeping that. We're keeping the planes. We're keeping the parachute. And I'm going to add in a helicopter. You got to fly a helicopter. You got to get good at maneuvering the helicopter. Or we're going to be doing like the original had a jetpack. Come on, man. We're going to have a jetpack.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. You got GTA San Andreas got jetpack. We're going to have a jetpack at Pilotwings. But, and then I think there was like parasailing. You could do some of that in there as well.
Auto gyro.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So there's a lot of different things. What's that?
I said even a cannon. There's one mode you get to shoot out of a cannon and land.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of different things that you could do. So like my goal behind this is that you have to go in there and take your tests, kind of like you do with Gran Turismo. Just like you have to get your license, you have to meet your time trials, and maybe you could upgrade your gear, upgrade your plane.
Mm-hmm.
Get some better stuff. Get some more planes. Have a big selection of planes to be able to rank up your pilot license for better planes. Maybe you do get a jet airliner or something that you try to get. So you become a commercial pilot, right?
Mm-hmm.
You level up. Maybe you get to do Air Force One or whatever like that. How cool would that be? or like a big military stealth bomber or something. How, just little things. Not that you can really fight with them. That's not really what's going on here, but just to be able to play these, and it's that mix of arcade meets sim. So who I picked to work on this was WildWorks, formerly known as Smart Bomb Interactive. Now, I got a game over here developed by these guys, and it's a fun little game. It's an arcade flying game. Now, you do fighting games in this, but I'm so glad that I told you off air I've been selling some games. I ain't selling this sucker. This game, I got so lucky to find it. Snoopy versus the Red Baron.
Oh yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about. 'Cause it was also on the arcades too, on the Xbox, I believe.
There was an Xbox game that came out called Snoopy Flying Ace.
That's the difference. Okay.
And then there was a PSP version of this game, and no manual. Oh, sad. But this was published by Namco Games, and it was made by Smart Bomb Interactive. Now, look, I understand that WildWorks, it's been a while since they made that game. They've moved on to some other stuff. They did Animal Jam Classic, and they made that, sheer classic of a game that's taken the mobile world by storm, called Tag with Ryan. I know, my kid plays it. I had no idea they made that game. I just thought that was a really cool thing. But the reason why I chose these guys is that I understand that group. One of the reasons why I settled on them is because the other group that I was going to pick was actually defunct. We talked about the last group that I picked might be either in hiatus. Who knows what's going on with them? They made something in the last 4 years, but because part of me was looking at the developer for Crimson Skies on the Xbox and how fun that was, and how that was like an arcadey dogfighting type game. And don't get me wrong, I don't want Pilotwings to be dogfighting, but I want you to be able to fly planes that are similar to that and have a similar feel where it's fun and it has an arcadey flow to it, and yet there's a certain precision about it. I don't want this to be the Gran Turismo of planes. We already kind of have that because that's Flight Simulator. I want this to be kind of like maybe like a mix. It's not completely arcadey. It's not Snoopy versus the Red Baron where you're flying around shooting things out of the air. And it's kiddie, but it's almost is, but not quite. It's kind of like that middle ground. And yeah, a lot of different things, like as I said, with the different planes, different upgrades, different helicopters. Imagine an Apache helicopter, you get one of those flying around, Yeah. Maybe you get balloons, and part of the test with that, you actually have to shoot the balloons, not actual targets, balloons. How about a hot air balloon? You actually have to use the hot air balloon with the.
That's a good one. That's a very good one.
Yeah, just a lot of different, aviation. Space shuttle.
Yeah, if you want to go further than that, yeah. So you want to add a little space into this a little bit?
I think that'd be cool.
Okay.
Space shuttle's not active anymore. They don't use them, but you launch into space. And you have to be able to maneuver the craft, and then you have to be able to land it. Yeah. Okay. I think that'd be fun.
Okay. All right. Right on. So I do have more on this because there's one thing we definitely have to talk about, the elephant in the room. But we're going to both meet on this. So I picked Squad, the people that did Kerbal Space Program, because I think I wanted more of the ragdoll kind of the physics where you just try and see what happens kind of concept. So I went a little bit crazier on my stuff where I would like to see challenges, more ridiculous challenges. Like you got your normal challenges, landing on your targets, fly through the rings. If you look on the cover of Pilotwing, you'll see rings in the game where your character is supposed to fly through the rings and everything like that. Jetpack, there's certain spots that they tell you in the air through cities and stuff like that. But I kind of wanted to go a little bit crazier and make it more of Nintendo. So, for instance, what would I say if one of your challenges is skydiving but dodging bombs? What if I say build custom planes and test drive them through stages? You got to go through the stages, but You get a bunch of testing planes, you try them out, maybe you take some off, try something else, like Custom Robo. What about trying out testing these landings and stuff in different areas? What about New Donk Cities from Super Mario Odyssey? What about that? What about Donkey Kong Country? What about in the jungle? What if like you're doing a bunch of simulation ideas in the jungle, like landing, and you have to watch out for trees and stuff as you're trying to land and everything like that? What about Pokemon? What about somewhere in Pokemon you have to land and stuff like that? Like that'd be kind of cool to have different locations dedicated, like Nintendo stages, just to see what happens. That'd be kind of cool.
I mean, that's easy. That's given. I mean, you already have access to be able to use those things, and they're like little Easter eggs. You know, like you have to deliver Pokemon.
Yeah.
To the Hoenn region, and you have to go land.
Yeah. Yeah. And then what about the ultimate test? What if they somehow, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if it exists or not, but what if we have a test after test after test? And what I mean is what if you start your stage with a jetpack, you have to jetpack to a plane, you have to fly the plane through a course, you have to jump out of the plane and land on this target, like back to back to back thing. That'd be kind of cool to me, you know.
It's almost like you're running a marathon.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
And I tell you what, though, that does sound cool, but it made me think of some of those crazy ass plane eject rocket launcher shots from Battlefield.
Yeah,
it made me think of that. Can I just say, number one, your idea sounds awesome. But when I played the original Pilotwings back on Super Nintendo, and of course I'm trying to play this game, and I suck. I can't. I keep crashing the plane. And whenever you crash the plane, the instructor like yells at you. I used to, as a kid, I used to feel so self-conscious that the game's yelling at me. Like I used to feel like ashamed that he's mad at me. And I looked up. The look on his face. Like,
yeah.
Dude is mad. And then he's like, I was just yelling at me. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I dove down too hard. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to land a plane with the D-pad.
So let's talk about the elephant in the room. Okay. This is something that I think this is what is missing. I think that it's now to do it, especially for where we are in this generation for the Switch. Because I think we're both on the idea that it should come to the Switch, and that is multiplayer. This game needs multiplayer. It does. On multiplayer local, multiplayer online, and they need to be challenges in races. There should be a race of jetpacks of whoever finished getting through their rings first. There should be a contest of planes, how many times you can go through rings and balloons or whatever. There should be co-op modes where you're both working together on something. Maybe you guys are both working on a plane together or something like that, and you have to learn to control it together or something like that. You were talking about dogfighting. Maybe that would be fun for a second to do a dogfighting mode or something like that. I'm not 100% sure, but there should be a crazy list of challenges for competitive and co-op in this game for people to connect more for high scores.
I'm down, dude. I think that's a great idea. And I even like the idea of the dogfighting, but keep it kind of like friendly.
Yeah, of course.
Where when the plane kind of blows up, you see the other guy like in the parachute falling down. Yeah.
And they have to land.
They have to land. And so that would be your, if you get shot down, you have to land and pull the chute. Yeah. I think that'd be fun. Absolutely.
Yeah. And it can be the same thing like jumping out of a plane, skydive. Like it's like a game of chicken. Whoever can get to that landing first. Do that person go faster than you? But if he does it too early, you know, like that could be a fun thing. It's almost like a Fall Guys, you know? Like, how awesome would it be, like a Fallout race to get like to a marathon of getting on a plane or something like that? I don't know. Like, I guess maybe it'd be kind of cool if you guys took turns or something like that. Like, maybe you're the one in the jetpack, and I have to sit and wait for you to get to me, and you're handing the baton next. It's like almost like a relay. Then I fly the plane to the next thing. Then you got the next thing. Like, you have to parachute out or something like that. That can be that would be kind of cool. Like, there's a lot of options they can do here, especially you. I know that the Mii Resort did the Mii thing, so that can be integrated in this if you want to. But honestly, I'm not a big fan of the Mii design. I'd rather if you can customize your own coolest character. 'Cause I want the old school pilot. Give me the hat with the goggles and the scarf, and well, give me the Fox McCloud outfit. I don't care.
Well, and that's something that you can like try to unlock too, is different skins. You can unlock different Nintendo skins to be able to just have that. Like whether you're cashing in some of the money you've earned or some of the perks that you earn by getting higher licenses. You get, okay, now I can access the Fox McCloud or the Captain Falcon or Pilot Mario, like you have
in
Mario
Land.
Odyssey.
Yeah, like in Mario Land.
So, absolutely, man. I'm down.
Yeah. And I think multiplayer is the way for this game to get kind of a revival. And especially, I want the ragdoll system. I kind of want the physics in there, like what could happen. And when you're going through the plains stuff, these different locations like New Donk City and the jungle, how cool would it be? How cool would it be? You have to fly through the jungle, dodging, trees and stuff, as you're hearing the Donkey Kong theme song. You know what I mean? Just hear
barrels,
yeah, just hearing that. Yeah, even barrels. That'd be hilarious. Just to see barrels just flipping around. That'd be freaking hilarious. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Even when you said the space program, why not do Star Fox? I don't care.
Yeah. And then you can unlock the R-Wing.
Why not?
Yeah. Yeah. And then like you unlock the R-Wing and you can be out there above the planet in space doing like stuff up there, and you can land on. They have their little command center there for the R-Wing. Yeah, so it's like almost like a little mini Star Fox game hidden in Pilotwings, which you get so far. Now you can fly the R-Wing and do some practice stuff in that, and you can do some like the old Star Fox 64 multiplayer with the R-Wings.
Yeah, I am down for any of that. I think there's no bad decision in this game. You could throw anything you want at this, and I think it'll be fun if you just make it fun.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. So, is there anything else you want to add to Pilotwing? Anything else you feel like is missing? Anything?
I think we got it, man. I think this is a good episode, and we had some really off the wall game picks, as well as some really cool ideas to what we could do. I am excited of what we're going to do next. And next month here on the show, and then also like coming up, we might have a little special coming around the holidays.
Yeah. So I want to thank everybody for listening to this episode, but like you said, that's not all. And what you can do for us definitely is, if you're enjoying the show, click the like button, subscribe to the page, leave a comment, but also check out our past episode. Our last episode we did Beautiful Joe and Soul Reaver. Come listen to our ideas and our thoughts about that. Why those games should be coming back. And we would love to hear games that you would like to see us talk about in the future that we'll definitely consider. Just leave a comment down below. We'd love to hear it. But as you know, this is part of the In-Game Boss program, Network Game and other variety shows, and the Game Addict podcast. So thank you so much for joining us. And if you want to find me personally, you can find me as RetroAmp07 on Twitter. But also you can find this network also on Facebook, on the Facebook page, by typing in the In-Game Boss program.
Absolutely. And you can check out the Game Addicts podcast on podcast services as well as YouTube. Just search up the Game Addicts podcast, and on social media, I believe it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Game Addicts Play or something like that. What's one of those things? I'm there. I'm a little active. I try to be more active. Interesting times that we're living in. We're still, man, it just seems like, I said this the other day, man. Someone's like, man, 2021 feels like 2020 the sequel. And I don't know if you ever watched the movie Spaceballs, which is like a parody of Star Wars. We have Mel Brooks as Yogurt. He's like, oh, the sequel, Spaceballs, the search for more money.
Yeah,
making fun of like the Star Wars merchandise stuff. I said 2021 is literally the sequel to 2020, the search for more money.
Yeah,
that's exactly what's going on in my world. But dude, I'm so excited to, this is a great episode. I can't wait to sit down and talk with you again, man. It's been fun.
All right. And for y'all, thank you so much. And we will catch you next time on the showcase. Thank you.